Let's take a look at the Israeli economy, which is being hit hard by this war with Hamas. The Bank of Israel now estimating that the lack of manpower due to call-ups into the army and also foreign labor, both Palestinian and foreign workers no longer coming into Israel, is costing Israel $600 million a week. And on top of that, whole sectors such as the tourism and leisure industries have basically been shut down or are running at minimum levels since October 7th. Now, foreign investment, of course, will also likely suffer greatly. To help counter that, an initiative is now underway bringing some 65 investors, CEOs, and top executives of U.S.-based technology, venture capital, and private equity firms to Israel this week. It's the largest such delegation to help boost the economy here since the war began. And one of the organizers of that is Michael Eisenberg. He is the general partner of the Aleph, one of those funds in Jerusalem, and he joins us from Jerusalem. And Michael, first of all, tell us about, I guess gave some very basic facts. Just tell us about this delegation that is here, or coming here.
So together with my friends, David Siegel and Ron Miasnik, and we put together this group of 65 investors and entrepreneurs who have now come to Israel. They arrived, most of them arrived yesterday, and they're here today. They heard from Rachel and John Poland. They met with startup companies and other executives here. And what I think you'll see is people increasing their involvement in the Israeli economy. You know, I sat with one of them, one of the participants today. He told me something amazing. He said, you know, over many years, I grew up with my Jewishness, and it was a small part of my identity, not a big part of my identity. On October 7th, everything changed. And he said, and Israel is a core part of my identity now, and Judaism is a core part of my identity, and I'm upping that. And as part of that, I plan to invest both more time in Israel and more money in Israel. And that's something we've heard from all the participants, even though we're only 24 hours into the trip.
Right. And of course, one could sort of imagine some support coming from members of the Jewish people, from the certainly American Jewish community, even the global Jewish community. But at the end of the day, Israel's going to need serious foreign investment coming because it's still worthwhile to invest in Israel. Let's talk about that. I mean, the tech sector in Israel has shown resilience, but it was already suffering due to some other global factors. There was a bit of a downturn even before the war began. On the other hand, during COVID, we saw the Israeli tech sector, as I said, show remarkable resilience. So what are the prospects, for example, for that sector and other elements of Israeli business in the current situation here?
Yeah, so that's a complex question. But just to be clear, by the way, the people who are on the trip, and there are non-Jews and Jews as well, are all professional investors. And they're not investing here out of their kind Jewish hearts. Right, this is not charity. They will invest here for good reason. Now, on the technology question more broadly, the Israeli tech ecosystem has been affected more by the downturn in technology investing globally than it has by the war. You know, we've made two investments during this war. One was well covered. I signed the deal with the founder, Calev Julio, and others on the Gaza border on the 30th day after the Simchat Torah massacre of October 7th. We've raised money into our companies from foreign investors, not Jewish, world-class venture capital funds who've invested into our portfolio companies. We've closed 2 or 3 deals like that since the war has began. But there's an overall tech downturn, and obviously a war and instability doesn't make it easier. But Israel has gotten through that before. What I think is perhaps hiding behind in your question is that there's two economies here. There's the technology economy, which is a high productivity environment that attracts a lot of foreign direct investment. And then there's other low productivity parts of the economy that are semi-controlled by the government or are low-tech industry. And it's there that I think we have a bunch of challenges. You know, technology is the #1 provider of tax revenue for Israel. Real estate is the second. And the real estate sector has completely come to a halt, primarily because of the lack of labor that the government doesn't seem to be working on. But also people don't generally buy real estate during a war. And then add to that the fact that many of the government programs have been really slow to roll out. And the budgetary lack of significant investment in growth economy and the budget or focus on growth economy that seems to be coming in the budget, that should be a cause for worry. I do think the tech economy will be super resilient here.
Right, but let's talk about, obviously, the short term, and there's no question, real estate. I did mention tourism, which is pretty significant. I think something like 7-8% of Israeli GDP completely, almost completely come to a halt. The leisure industries are the other ones. But Israel as a whole, even beyond the tech economy, has shown some economic resilience, sometimes even coming out of these kind of conflicts, benefiting from some of the experience. Obviously, the defense industries benefit from some way, but just in other aspects as well. I mean, how optimistic can we be over the sort of at least longer term, some of the longer trends coming when Israel is able to come out of the current military situation?
I'm super optimistic about the economy in Israel over the long term, even by the way, the medium term. Historically, Israeli stocks have recovered pretty quickly, and the stock market has recovered pretty quickly after conflicts in the past. But I think it's more than that. I think, you think about in the high-tech sector, all these people have been called up to reserve duty. We've had the world's greatest hackathon happen in the 8200 unit with, thousands and thousands of reservists and serving soldiers coming together to invent science fiction there. We have people who are serving in Gaza are holy and incredible soldiers and children who are there. I have 4 kids serving there who've gone down there, and they, I think, will come out of Gaza ready for bear. They want to innovate and tear up the world with Israeli economy and innovation. And so I'm super optimistic about that over the long term. We have to be sure not to go back to the political instability that predated the conflict. That's critical. Foreign direct investment likes political stability. We have to ensure that we come out of this with optimism. That's critical for economic growth. And we have to be sure that we invest in the infrastructure for economic growth. And that includes hard infrastructure like railroads, better transportation, and soft infrastructure like computation power for artificial intelligence and things like that.
All right. Well, hopefully that optimism will be borne out. Israel has shown, as you say, especially the economy, some remarkable resilience. Michael Eisenberg of Aleph, good luck with that.